Welcome back. I'm at the 109th script dealing with grids, and I will be showing an example of what's going on with this geometry. It's made from swapping out grids and using the Pathmapper and split tree with certain masks on it, and I'll show you how gaining access or gaining control of data is what it's all about. So we will jump over to shaded. I still have it on EMAP just for fun. Probably could see where that's going. So what I have here, if I grab all this geometry and just tuck it into invisible, I have this pattern, which is a, just so everybody knows, I'll bring in my bifocals, is a radial grid. I also have a hexagonal grid, and I have a rectangular grid, and they all work very well with it. So basically I can take this and put it back into my original points right here. And you can see what's happening with that. As we go in, I have this little geometry that I can fully control of this gridded form. So let's just begin with that gridded pattern and maybe shake off the other two. Not sure why my Alienware just popped up. But this is the grid pattern I want to start with, and I want to deal with the points. The points come out very simple as a branch that I flip matrix and grab the points in one direction, and I flip them in the other direction. And I chose this set of points along with this set of points. Very interesting tool. And then this set of points coming up like this in a row. And I have used a little bit of the Pathmapper to just filter it through down here. Didn't have to do any changes to it because I really just have a single data stream and then indices at each point. So you're allowed the vertical lines, these bent lines, which you have control over, kind of warping and getting this undulating pattern. And then this set of lines. And it's different every time you go in here. Maybe change the end, control the heights of what you want to do. You can lift it. You could set this pattern up much larger. You could bend it up like this and get a really cool curve. It's not inverted. It inverts, I believe, if I pull this one. Well, it's a little tricky to see what's happening. I can extend it out in this direction. I can extend my grid out in this direction. You get this kind of undulating form. I end up flipping it and reversing it later. So I took it here, and I believe I flipped the reverse here. Then I interpolate, and interpolate. And in doing so, I'm then able to jitter those into a different form of undulating paths and take the positive negatives here, and I've written in a Pathmapper and swapped my indices with B and just chosen every fifth one along the A path, and then the B I've left everything in and all the indices, or the indices in B. Grab those points, play through a certain piping of these points, which I brought down over here, and they're the columns that will go up. I also went in here and grabbed a jitter node, which I thought was more exciting than that. It is jittered, but it's got that little bend in the end that's kind of inverted, and I thought I'd flipped it around with the reverse the other way. But as I bring in all these points, I'm putting them through. But I do have the loft on top, which is fairly nice, and I can control that. And I've basically set my loft through this little script that allows me to grab the top brep and the bottom brep, and you see that it's actually not joined, and what I have to do is just deconstruct the brep and loft the sides together, and I get the sides. That way I get the sides, the top, all the stands and all the stanchions, and this kind of strange canopy that I have full control and precise ability to script in whatever I want from it. Very nice tool. Let's leave it on that one's being visible. And you can see that that pattern, which I've played with a little bit, I don't know if I'm liking it in that direction and why I haven't switched it as I play with this. You see I can bring it down and I can loft it up the domain. I thought I had some different data here that made it bend down instead of up, but maybe I played with that too much. Anyway, you do have a chance to write into here any code you want. If I wanted much more, many more struts and supports holding it up, or maybe I wanted to bring this down to maybe an 8 and take this one, I guess it's fine at 4. There we go. You're starting to get a little pull up and down on it. That's a pretty simple undulated pattern, not too many, nothing too fancy with that. And my jitter nodes can be played with. Maybe if I shrunk this, it would bend down a little more. And I'm getting too many points still on it. I think that's just too many. even if I take it to its full extent this way, I would want to call out using this mask. So I'll go in here and I'll just make the mask skip 1, 3, 0, 3, 6, and things like that. You can see that I can should be able to adjust what was happening there. And there was a subtle little change in maybe the height. Let me go back in and try the grab every second one. There we go. It's just putting in more of these tower pieces. And I can be fairly selective with it. Interesting in what I've done. The script is fairly straightforward. You can play with the jitter effect and how much you want to bump that up or not bump that up, or play with that canopy, which is kind of nice. And I think maybe putting in more of these points of playfulness and really wiggling it out and getting different heights, and maybe having more of a jitter to count on my raising up and down. So I can raise it down at one end and up at the other. I can really start to get this strange pattern that's happening. It seems a bit low right now, but I don't mind it. It's actually a little low on the back. And then you can also affect the strength of that jitter. So if you want it to really kind of go crazy on itself, you can do that as well. So nice little pattern, nice little tools. You write different scripts into it as you go, not using that Pathmapper. Very nice. And then when you're said and done, you can always just swap this out for the radial points, which gives you a totally different pattern, undulating. And I've lost a little bit of control on it because I probably pulled it out too far in the 10 direction. Let's just rein that one into maybe 4. And this one's gone a little high. 7. Let's bring this one down. Let's bring this one down to 2 and see what we have. We got a pretty strange geometry that's dipping into the ground a little bit. Might help if I grab standard and jump in here. Anyway, they're playful little scripts. You can change them up. I'm going to grab the cells and go over to the radial tool. And there's one, the hexagon tool, which gives me a little different pattern as it really dips down on that backside with that. But if you put it into render, I think it cuts off the ground plane. So you're okay with it. And you have these strange little architectural units that you can have full control of. If I grab that, you can see fully what I've got, which is always nice. This crazy pattern of just data and playfulness and bending pipes and using variable pipe on it. You end up with this interesting piece of geometry. Anyhow, the script will be online, so you can play with it in your own way. But really, the key is reading your data, understanding what you have to set up and put to null pattern, how you can play with the indices, and then you want to set masks into it and see what happens. Not too explanatory. It's more just experimental as you see the size of the script and kind of get a handle on what's happening. Not too hard, and then to take it to bake, it's pretty sweet. Just bring it all into a layer, and you can throw it into an EMAP, and you'll have a sense of what's there. Nice little pattern. I think I'll just grab an EMAP. And that's all I need to do. And I'll grab everything. And I'll probably take it over to a nice little turntable because it's a nice little ending. There you go. Pretty nice geometry. Very nice script. I'll save that one as C, I guess. Because, you know, you basically write a script and you've got a wide range of control and a very nice little shape. Really liking it. I'll pull it out in this direction. We'll have a look at it. Very happy with it. All right. Thanks for watching.